98 Not 8, sponsored by Shepherd Neame, proud supporters of cricket in Essex.
A little bit of music there to just break up the chat, but back to the chat we are. And on the line, we are very pleased to have a multi-talented gentleman, drummer with the Turin Brakes, and captain at Chigwell Cricket Club as well. A big 98 Not Out welcome to Rob Allum. Rob, how are you?
Oh, very well, thanks. Thanks for very much for getting me on. Lovely. Great show.
We have been meaning to get you for quite a long while.
Okay, maybe my agent missed the call or something, or he was out.
I think your other agent, Paul Newman, has been singing your praises very often.
Okay, yeah, he's on a commission.
He's involved at Chigwell, isn't he?
He is. He's now actually the president. Yeah, I know. He was one of the founders. There was me, my brother, Paul, a few others, Graham Miskin, Rob. Bunch of guys. A few of us still play. I think 3 of the original guys still play. Paul doesn't really play anymore, but we just decided, you know what, it's nice to get somebody in the presidency who is an original member, and Paul's been really good, you know, and actually he's been great since he's sort of taken over. He's
been very good to us this week, and mentioning us.
He's very good with all that, you know. He's very, very good with the old, you know. We all scratch each other's back, you know what it's like. It's got to be done.
So I guess we've got all of Chigwell listening in tonight, and with bated
all 3
breath.
of them are probably if they can be bothered. Yeah. That
So
gives them a bit of ammo, doesn't it? You know?
How long have you been involved at Chigwell?
Since about 1980. Well, I think we've been going about 30 odd years. 32 years or something daft. So yeah, we started off just doing 20 over stuff in at Low Hall Farm in Walthamstow, you know, like evening league stuff. And then we gradually morphed into Chigwell, you know, and so we sort of changed the name to Chigwell because that's where we play. And you know, because we can get a you know, a lot better fixtures when you've got a geographical name. You know, originally we were called Oral Sculpture.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to go very far, I don't think.
Yeah, you need to get the references there, otherwise.
That was, I believe it was a Stranglers song, but so it's slightly.
We'll have to talk to Steve Green, who does our punk show on the station, Blank Generation. We'll have to.
There you go.
Ask him. Yeah, another one that all of our loyal band of listeners can tune into on the wonderful Phoenix 98 FM.
So they should.
So how's the winter been for you guys?
For most people, it's been pretty frustrating, hasn't it? I mean, I sit around and I look forward to nets beginning in January. You know, we start indoor nets, you know, for first week in Jan, and so we got in there and we did a little bit of that. Then I went out on tour again, with the band, which happens all the time, kind of ruined it. And then I came back and I think I did one final net, and then that was it, lockdown. So. So we everyone's kind of champing at the bit to do a little bit of stuff, and everyone's a little bit frustrated, asking the questions like most club cricketers are. When are we going to be able to get out there and play a game? You know.
Have you got outdoor nets where you are? Because there's now some sort of restrictions lifted, isn't it, that you can use outdoor nets?
Yeah, we've got a couple of nets. We share the ground with Fives and Heronians, and there's a couple of outdoor nets there. The netting's about to go up, and there's going to be a booking system in place. Yeah, and that's how they're going to get around that, because you're not supposed to be. There's only 2 nets side by side, and you're not meant to be in adjacent net. That's one of the things. So literally, if someone's batting in the next net, you can't be in there. So it's only going to be 1 net at a time, and I think, you know, we're going to sort of put a booking policy in place, and so you know, loads of people don't turn up, because then it would be. Then it would be tempting, wouldn't it, to all just line up and bowl like normal, you know.
That's what we just started today at Billericay on our outdoor nets, and as you say, there are a lot of hoops to jump through in this whole process, and you say they have to be booked, they can't be adjacent, one at a time, unless you're from the same household. Everyone's got to be sort of checked in and checked. And our sessions are really 50-minute sessions, because there's got to be 10 minutes sort of clean down time between each booking.
Yeah, and then of course the pavilions have to be, you know, cleaned down, I guess, to some extent as well. I mean, there's definitely a bit of that in there. I've seen in the guidelines. So it looks like there's a few hoops to jump through. I mean, you could probably get around a few of them by, possibly getting changed at home or having a wee in a bush when no one's looking. But but hey,
not really overlooked there at Fives, are you? So.
we wouldn't advocate that, but yeah, exactly. Over there at the
part of club
Chigwell
and village cricket, that isn't it? It's the law.
Yeah, exactly. we might just about get away with that, I think.
So what are you? You're a batter or bowler? What?
Well, some people would say neither, but a little bit of both, really. I mean, I tend to open the batting on a Sunday, and just some the sort of slow and steady, boring kind of anchor role, and everyone else can do their thing around me, and I just sort of noodle and nerdle around and.
Hang on, you sound like a drummer now.
I have visions of drummers wanting to go out and hit things hard.
I used to do that. I used to go in and try and smash it for 6 first ball, and then I'd just get out. So then I learned like most people, like that. There's no future in that. I just, I'd be sitting there frustrated, like watching the other batsmen saying, "Why can't they just hit it? What's wrong with them?" Go in there and try and smash it first ball, and all that. And so in the end, I actually realised. Well, what happened actually is we sort of lost. We kept losing. We had like a house of cards kind of thing, like a lot of clubs do. One goes down and then all of a sudden everyone, you lose about 5 wickets. And so what happened is I think I just developed this, okay, let's go in and play an anchor role and let the other guys just play in their own way, and it seemed to work. And we actually won our league. We're in this league, the Middlesex and Essex Invitation League. It's a real small league.
Yeah.
We're actually trying to get a couple more clubs in, so if anyone's interested in the Middlesex or Essex area, let us know.
Get in touch with us via the show. We will pass details on.
Yeah, great. Or just look me up on FaceTube or all the relevant. But yeah, and we actually won the league the first couple of years it was going, and I think a lot of that was just due to. We got quite a few draws, but we got points out of the draws, rather than just losing, rather than going for that sort of, all or bust kind of mentality. I think we sort of realised a little bit more pragmatism was the way forward. So anyway, that's how I developed. And, some people say it's boring, but, some people say, well, I wouldn't say I'm the Steve Smith, but I definitely got a few
Jeffrey
eccentricities. yeah, maybe.
Well, I compared it to drumming, so let's talk Turin Brakes. So that again is something that you were at the start of and has been going a while. Yeah,
I mean we've been doing that. We've astonishingly, the band's been going for more than 20 years. And we, I mean I sort of met up with, originally it was a couple of schoolmates called Ollie and Gail, and I met up with those guys when they just sort of did a little EP sort of with a independent label in Brighton, and they were looking to make the album, the first album. So I met up and we started working then, and that was 1999, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that album came out in 2001, and we've never looked back since. So yeah, it's been.
Painkiller, a UK top 5 hit in 2003.
I know. I mean, shocking, wasn't it? When you suddenly find yourself top 5, it changes things. I'd played with other people and stuff, and I'd been
Billy Bragg.
And so I'd done a bit of telly. We'd done the Tonight Show with Billy and all that. So
you did Top of the Pops.
Yeah, we did Top of the Pops with Turin Brakes, not with Billy. So actually, I was already I think I was already like over 30 when I went on Top of the Pops. So I thought that was never going to happen. It was incredible. We managed to. We managed to scrape on Top of the Pops, I think, 3 or 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Over the years. I know. One of which I wore my Chigwell cap, by the way. So
excellent.
I will dig that out. It must
the
be
manager was a interesting Frenchman, and he said, "The thing is, Rob, you are going a little bit bald, so I think you have to wear a hat on TV tonight." And I was like, right, okay. Well, if you want me to wear a hat, then
only one.
There's only one hat that's going on tonight, and that's the Chigs one. So there you go, our little flower. It was beautiful. It was a great moment in my life, I've got to tell you.
That's right. So in lockdown, you've been, apart from trying to get things going at the cricket club, there's been some action with the music as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people do that. I mean, obviously you see a lot of people are doing these kind of online stuff and all that. I've got kind of mixed feelings a little bit about that, because I sometimes think you don't necessarily want to let people too close in behind the curtain, if you know what I mean, because you want a little bit of magic and mystique. So we thought, okay, well, we do a little bit of that. Ollie does a little acoustic song every week or every couple of weeks for everyone. But we thought, we got this album in the can, this thing called Lounge at the Edge of Town, and it's a band and an album. It's basically the Turin Brakes guys also with a guy called Phil Ramacon, who used to play with Bob Marley, Jimmy Cliff, people like that.
Oh, wow.
Great keyboard player, yeah. And we wrote a bunch of songs and demoed them up and thought, hang on a minute, this is really good. Let's make an album. So we made this record. I managed the band, so I was just scouting around for a deal to get this record out. Then all this stuff happened, lockdown, and we just thought, you know what, let's get it out straight away. Let's not worry about physical release. So we just went straight onto Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube, all the usuals, and did it that way with no physical release. And we got it out really quick. So now, and it's been brilliant. Everyone's just loving this. We got such a good response. It's been brilliant.
I've listened to it today. It's and we're going to play it in a moment. But listening to it, it's kind of it's very James Bond.
Yeah,
and I think with a bit of Arctic Monkeys thrown in as well.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things. I mean, the thing is, because because it's not like a Turin Brakes album, because it's a sort of side project. Everyone was a little bit free, and we thought, you know what, we just play whatever and just be loose. So actually, we all loosened up a little bit and just play a little bit of music in the kind of old style. Just let people enjoy it. And we thought, you know what, it's bright and breezy, and that's what people need at the minute, So we sort of took that attitude and hoped that you could hear it, in the music.
With Turin Brakes, the sort of style of music has changed quite a bit over time, though, hasn't it? You kind of sort of move on and try something different. You don't sort of stick to what you know best, like a lot of bands sort of do. Yeah,
actually, it changed a lot between the first album and the second album. I mean, that was, straight away, like the die was cast, because, I mean, like, there's tracks on sort of the first album, which is virtually an acoustic guitar and a voice. And then there's tracks on the second album, which is like a kind of noise art rock song, like Little Brother or something like that. So yeah, we've kind of, it's a bit, I'd say, rather than a kind of gentle undulating waveform, we're a little bit of a zigzag sawtooth, kind of we tend to do one thing, then think, okay, well, we've done that for a while. We're a bit over that now. Let's try something else.
What are your sort of go-to musical influences? I mean, obviously you move and you evolve the style with the band, but what do you listen to when you're?
Well, if you're talking personally, I mean, I got all that. I've got the kind of niche stuff that I like, which I always try and bang on about and get people interested in. I love Richard Thompson. I don't know if you know him. He's a singer-songwriter, guitar
folk player. From the 70s, isn't it? Yeah,
he used to be in Fairport Convention.
That's right.
And I love Fairport. I like a lot of prog rock. I like King Crimson, bands like Tortoise,
Brian Eno,
stuff like that. I also like things like Pavement and that alt rock stuff. I also love a bit of proper rock, so like AC/DC. I love Akadaka. That's off and on in my car when I turn up at cricket on a Sunday. You can't go wrong. Everyone loves a bit of AC/DC, So,
yeah.
I mean, I love all that. You wouldn't necessarily hear it in what I do, in my playing, for instance, like most people would assume that I listen to things like James Taylor or something, but actually, I tend to listen to sort of tub-thumping rockers, a lot of the time.
So, Rob, if you could do one or the other, a sold-out concert at Wembley Stadium or opening the batting for England at Lord's?
I think I'd go for opening the batting at Lord's.
It is a cricket show.
Well, it is a cricket show, and also I've done just about enough of the other stuff to get it out of my system.
Yeah.
So if I had to sort of choose one or the, now, I think I'd go for that. I just think, well, this is my one and only chance. Depends who I'd be facing, though. I mean, if
Holding.
it was, yeah, exactly. I could.
Well,
it could turn very nasty. It could turn like that Piers Morgan incident, which
Brett Lee.
Yeah,
Oh.
which I watched again recently, which actually was pretty brutal.
There's a bit of no balling going on there.
He followed him, Binger, and he made sure he nailed him a few times, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was a bit of no balling going on as well. Yeah, he did seem to run halfway down the track, and
I think he made sure he got him. He'd given him plenty of verbals, Piers Morgan, and he didn't really learn his lesson from it. He still keeps going at people, doesn't he?
I know, it was very interesting, wasn't it? That whole thing. I've got kind of mixed feelings about it now because. Of course, Morgan's, defending the NHS and everything, so he's, before that, I wouldn't mind seeing him getting a little bit of a rough up, but now it's like, oh, hang on a minute, maybe he's not so bad, but,
I think it's his stock in trade that, if he feels strongly about something, he's going to take it on and make a big issue. The thing, I think, looking back at it, and that's probably, about 8 or 9 years ago, maybe a bit more, that after the Philip Hughes incident, I think people... saw that
before the Philip Hughes incident, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and sort of having that as a kind of, I'm pretty sure I watched it live, and it was almost like the lunchtime entertainment.
It was
the test, and that sort of seems a bit gladiatorial. It's almost like the decline of the Roman Empire or something. Like we're all sort of wanting to see someone sort of assaulted by this fast bowler. I think part of me liked it, and another part of me sort of was a bit horrified by what I was seeing, but I guess that's life, isn't it?
I think from memory, he bowled him a fairly sort of gentle 70 mile an hour first ball just outside off stump, and I think Piers said something, didn't he?
When he was waving,
it really rattled him, didn't he? And after that, the others were right pinged at him, and
you can imagine though the level of adrenaline you'd have if you had to face that kind of thing. I mean, I'm bad enough in the nets, if there's a decent sort of someone with any kind of anything over medium, I'm sort of, I'm buzzing around like a lunatic, like just that adrenaline. No wonder he was sort of mouthing off to him down the other end, because he probably just like felt like exploding, and he probably didn't feel that broken finger or whatever it was, until later on, and I think didn't he break a rib as well?
Yeah, I think cracked a rib as well. So
so I mean, I expect like that adrenaline sort of kept him going. But yeah, I wouldn't be mouthing off to Brett Lee.
The thing is, I think
now,
to all of us that have played club cricket, even to a decent standard, you're not. 70 miles an hour is still pretty. If you're facing that, that's still coming at you.
I've only faced in excess of 80 miles an hour 3 times, and 2 of them I didn't even see the ball.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
So
where the ball
what
was going.
is it like at 93, 94 or whatever?
I can't imagine what's on the, just back of the length at that pace. I think it would be virtually impossible for me. I just wouldn't get anywhere near it. I mean, we set the bowling machine once at maximum, which is meant to be 100 miles an hour. I don't think it is, but it's meant to be, and that was ridiculous. I mean, I don't see how anyone could play a shot to that. It's almost as if the top batsmen are telepathic. I can't see how you can physically just get into position and play a good shot. But
some are better than others. I think that's clear when you watch it down the years.
Well, some are definitely better than me.
So, Rob, what's the plans after lockdown? A Turin Brakes concert on the outfield? Maybe raise a few pennies for the club, something like that?
I mean, there's always someone sort of suggesting that, and of course the rest of the band are always like rolling their eyes, tutting, sort of when I try not to mix too much of business and pleasure, if you know what I mean. But occasionally, it will come about. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do a little festival out on the outfield, for everybody.
I think that's one of the things cricket clubs are going to have to look at, how they can raise funds is by doing some community things on the outfield going forward.
Yeah, I mean, and also, I suspect, and I don't know, I don't work for the council, I don't really know many people, but I imagine that there might be, if something's charitable event, they might be more likely to license it than if it were going to be a commercial event, if you know what I mean.
I think most clubs have probably got a licensed bar, haven't they?
Yeah, most clubs are licensed, but they're not necessarily licensed for music outside, for instance, and things like that, the kind of noise, and but I imagine it would be a bit more. I'm hoping it would be a bit more lenient for things like that.
I think so. I think they'll be pragmatic about it, haven't they?
Going to have to look at it, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and hopefully, I mean, we're all sort of going in the same direction.
Well, Rob, thanks for your time. It's been great pleasure chatting to you.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Hope everyone at Chigwell's enjoyed the last 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, more ammo. You know, actually, you know what? We're looking for a couple more players for Chigwell Cricket Club. So if anyone fancies it, they don't have to be amazing players. They can
Thought you were going to put me and Brett up for it for a second.
No, you don't.
They can be very mediocre. I know someone who played with Brett. Actually, he claimed it. Yeah, there was a story about 2 T's, but I don't know about that.
Two T's, as in our famous cricket tees.
Well, I heard there was a McDonald's purchased about 10 overs before tea, and then the full tea
Would have been
as well.
unusual. Who is this? Drop this name.
I'm afraid I can't name
Go on,
names.
you can name names.
I'm afraid I have to. I'm a paragon of
we used to have a really good tea competition at Thaden Boys.
I don't care.
Really strong outrage.
I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure my old man dropped us a message and brought some McDonald's over for everyone one day. It wouldn't have been unusual.
Sounds all right to me. I mean, you know, actually, I remember the penultimate time I played at Ilford. I was wondering, this truck trundled across the outfield during around about sort of 4 o'clock, and it was the KFC being delivered for tea. 2 pieces of chicken and chips.
Perfect.
Oh.
You know, I couldn't. You know, I thought makes a nice change, doesn't it?
I think the problem was playing where he was out in Thaden Boys. You never would have got Deliveroo out there on a Saturday afternoon. I don't know whether they do now, but no, there's some great, you know, some great places you can play and get stuff nearby.
I mean, I've seen more and more of that when I play with the youngsters, you know, they're always ordering pizza and stuff, you know, to turn up, you know, often before the end of the game, you know. And I'm just sitting there sort of huffing like some old git, you know, like, you know, like from another era, like, what are these people, what are they doing, you know, bloody music today. But, you know, that's what people do, isn't it? You know, they order a pizza, they're looking forward to it, they're having a good day out, playing cricket, having a beer, having Shepherd Neame, of course.
Well, there are other beers available. Shepherd Neame do sponsor the show, and they're great guys. There's nothing wrong with that, though, is there? You know, start the game off, out go to 2 openers, number 5, number 6 go and do the umpiring, or 6 and 7, and then the other 3 pop down the shop, get a few beers and supplies.
Yeah,
so actually,
you know what? On a day like today, a few ice lollies as well always goes down well.
We've just had a tweet come in.
Oh dear.
From a certain Harry Gurney of Nottinghamshire. He has seen our picture.
He's seen the shirts. I don't know if you've seen me and Daz are we're sporting the Nottingham training kit, not training kit. It's interesting.
It's on our social media. Have a look.
I'm going to have a look at that. Yeah.
But Harry says they look great, so there you go.
Good lad.
Harry's retweeted it as well.
Thanks for your time. Now you've sent us the single from Eclipse Lounge.
Yeah, that's going to be a single probably in about a month or so's time, actually. So this is the first play on radio of this anywhere.
Well, thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
And we'll play out with this, and hopefully we'll all catch up soon.
Great stuff.
Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Thanks
Rob.
a lot.